Now, it may surprise you to find out that this vehicle actually has launch control. Yeah, it's a manual transmission with launch control. Now, I've never done it, so this will be our first time together. And let's see if I can do this right without borking the transmission. First, I have to put it into N mode. I then put it into first gear. I keep the clutch pedal in. I then go full throttle. 3, 2, 1, and go. What? 60. Oh, on the top of second gear. So you don't have to make that third gear shift to get all the way to 60. Oh, that was fun.
Welcome to another episode of Driving Sports TV. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and give it a like. Your support powers our content. Now, let's go for a drive. This isn't your average everyday Hyundai Veloster. This is in fact the Veloster N. You can tell just by looking at it, this is something special. From the big wing and aggressive side skirts to the sleek alloys housing oversized Brembos. The price also gives it away as something a bit more than your average compact. As you see it here, you're looking at $30,430 US, including delivery. Under the hood is a 2-liter engine fitted with a twin-scroll turbo. In base N trim, it puts out 250 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque up to the front wheels through a 6-speed manual transmission. An 8-speed dual clutch option will be available later this year. Our test car was fitted with the Performance Pack. This $2,100 option ups engine output to 275 horsepower, plus it upgrades the wheels to 19-inch alloys wrapped in Pirelli P0s. It also adds an electronically controlled hardware-based limited slip differential up front, swaps out the exhaust for a variable unit, and upgrades the brakes to massive 13.6 inches up front and 12.4s in the back. Even though they upped the performance, they didn't compromise on everyday usefulness. The trunk area still holds 19.9 cubic feet of cargo with the seats up. Fold them down for 44.5 cubic feet. The same goofy door configuration is back, with 2 doors on the passenger side and 1 on the driver's side. The driver's position is built for business, with a leather-wrapped steering wheel featuring a couple extra buttons. What do? We'll get into that shortly. And exclusives continue with special seats and an upgraded gauge cluster. There's even a reminder just in case you forget. Yeah, there's also some cheap plastic, but the leather is nice. Infotainment is standard Hyundai fare. In short, it's great. Attach a mobile device for Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Use a button on the wheel to trigger hands-free commands. Of course, the screen also doubles as a backup camera. There is an N-specific menu on the system, and it is amazing. It's loaded with performance-focused features. G-meters, an acceleration timer, even charts to show turbo metrics mapped over time. These extend to the gauge cluster as well. Those little blue buttons, the left one triggers performance modes, normal, sport, and eco. On the right, that engages N mode, the most extreme setup. You can customize N mode by diving into the touchscreen to configure 7 discrete features at multiple levels. And because we have the Performance Pack, you can even change the tone of the exhaust. Let's listen. They could have easily fallen into a looks-only performance model, Ralliardo Z, but instead it looks like they really delivered the goods. But is it really $12,000 worth of extra goods over the base Veloster?
At the end of my review of the 2018 Veloster, I kind of said that I felt I had aged out of a car of this type of aesthetic. I felt it really targeted a younger buyer, and it really wasn't for me. However, now that I've driven the Veloster N, I'm gonna have to walk that back a little bit. And the reason is because this car is so good, it appeals to anybody who likes cars. It's not just kind of good, it's amazing. This car has a lot of really just cool race-inspired stuff that you just don't find in most production cars. First off, there's N mode. In N mode, you have more than 1,000 configuration options. That's everything from tuning the electronically controlled limited slip differential in the front to the physical exhaust valves, so you get that nice pop and crackle, to response of the engine. Okay, let's go ahead and try launch control. Now I'm already in N mode. I put it into first gear, and then I basically just mash the throttle. It'll hold it at 3,800 RPM, and then I release the clutch. Now I'm not sure how fast to release the clutch, so this may not be the best example. Let's see. Nope, 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 didn't take it. Why is that? Let's try that first gear, and nope, not taking it. Okay, it's time when you look at the paperwork. No warning lights, all vehicles doors closed. We have to be in N mode, steering wheel neutral, clutch pedal pressed, first gear engaged. Press the accelerator pedal, and it'll go up to, it'll fix at 3,800 RPM. I wonder, is my steering wheel not perfectly straight? Thought it was. Nope, not doing it. We need a 3-minute cooling drive before it becomes active again. Ha! So we need a 3-minute drive in between launch control attempts. Now everybody has some kind of a restriction. That's Hyundai's. And in this cooling drive, I'm going to go ahead and put it back to comfort mode, which normal. And what you can really tell here is that everything actually smooths out. You know, in some vehicles, when you put on the sport mode on the suspension, it feels a little firmer, but not too much. This one, it feels like a race car. As soon as I hit that N button, I can feel every little piece of gravel on this road. I go back into normal, and it's smooth, like a Sunday driver. It's great. Let's see how the different suspension settings feel. I got a road here. I'm gonna go put some cones out, and let's see how it feels. Gonna go to chassis, gonna go to suspension, gonna go to normal, and give that a try, and we'll see how this feels. Okay, there's a little bit of body roll. Feels kind of like a normal sporty car. Okay, easy enough. Now we're just doing this at 20, 30 miles an hour, nothing, spectacular. Because the point is just to feel the suspension. It's not to like make a fast time. Okay, let's go back the other way. Yeah, there's some roll there. Definitely some roll. Downshifting. Okay. This time we're going to set it for Sport Plus. We're just going to jump right up to the most extreme setting. Now what this does is it firms up the dampers so that we have less body roll. And what? Yeah. I mean, there's still a little body roll because you want some of that, but yeah, you can really feel the difference. And that's, I think, important, because like with the Honda Civic, when you put it into its firmer mode, it's very slight. This one, yeah, you don't even have to look at the setting. You can feel it in your body what mode you're in. And I think that's key.
Not only does the suspension firm up, it's active. That means that it aggressively counters dynamic effects of cornering, acceleration, and braking. So if you're going into a hard braking situation, it'll actually firm up the front dampers so that you have less plow in the nose. It's little things like that that come straight from the race car world.
Torque steer? Non-existent. That's because it has an e-diff up front that helps channel power left and right.
The upgraded front differential in the Performance Pack Veloster N uses clutches to vector torque to the front wheels. This counters torque steer, and when cornering, it also pushes more power to the outside wheel, which improves tracking. The amount is electronically controlled, and it is based on driver preference. Ideally, you'd look at sport for on-track use and normal for around town.
And it also doesn't have the standard steering rack. This is exclusive to the Veloster N. So you really feel what the front wheels are doing, which is kind of important, you know? I also like the fact that they actually have like an old school handbrake. They didn't bother to put an electronic handbrake in here, which, you know, honestly, if you're going into a corner and you want to tip that back out a little bit, that's what the handbrake's for. Steering, oh, so precise. I love it. Even though the Honda Civic Type R has 4 doors and is slightly larger than this vehicle, I would still directly compare the two. If I was shopping for a front-wheel drive sports car, I would definitely be looking at both of them. Might even take a look at the Mini JCW, the John Cooper Works. However, between the 3 of them, and I have driven all 3 of them extensively, I would say that the Hyundai Veloster N is the best deal. You get, I don't know, it's the best of everything in this category. It feels great at the limit. It has spectacular sounds. It has plenty of horsepower for a front-wheel drive car. It comes with the Pirelli P0s, which are super sticky. And, you know, it's big enough. I'm still not fond of the goofy 3-door configuration of the Veloster. That's just something it's more of a gimmick to me. I don't see any value in that. If I'm coming into my car and I want to throw something in the back seat, I got to walk all the way around or put my seat forward. Just give me 4 doors, 3 doors. Nobody's going to care if you add a 4th door to a Veloster. It just makes it more useful. I always like it when a car maker offers a single color to a single model, and this is of course exclusive to the Veloster N. You see this color with the red and the blue and you know this is a Veloster N. And I like how they carried it into the interior with the seat belts and the push buttons. At first I was a little bit like, really? But then after a while I was like, yeah. And they don't, you know, they don't have a sunroof, because if you're a performance driver, you don't want that stuff. That just adds weight. There is an interesting feature on this in that in N mode, it'll automatically blip the throttle on downshift, so you don't have to heel toe. It does it for you. Do you need to do that? No, you can disable it if you don't like it. But the one thing that is true is that it'll heel toe better than you can. Yeah. Just eats up the corners. The only problem with this car is the amount of money I'm going to spend on tickets. Not usually a fan of, you know, front-wheel drive sports cars, but some cars really just get it right. The Honda Civic Type R, it gets it right. This car, yeah, it gets it right. Oh, that snap, crackle, pop. Is it useful? No. Is it cool? Hell yes. I just want to downshift all the time. Oh. I think we can try another launch control here. So we're gonna stop completely on this straightaway. This is a highway, but thanks to COVID-19, there's like nobody on the roads these days. So I'm gonna put it all the way in, clutches all the way in. It's in first gear. I have N mode engaged, full throttle, holds at 38, release. What? 40 and 60. For Driving Sports TV, I'm Ryan Douthit. Thanks for watching. What would you get? Would you get this Civic Type R or a John Cooper Works Mini? All of them are in the mid-20s to low 30s, and all of them provide a lot of punch for the dollar. However, between all 3 of those, and I'm kind of a Civic fanboy, I would still pick the Hyundai Veloster N. I just think it's a better deal. Man, this is such a good car. We'll see you again next week.